Welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU Aftershow. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, here with you today to go back to another Fantastic Four movie. You are correct in thinking that you read the title right. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. This one came out in 2007. I do remember seeing it in theaters, and it's crazy. It's just 1 year before Iron Man came out and the whole MCU starting, which would lead to years later us being at Fantastic Four First Steps. However, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer has its own thing going for it. I think there were a couple of fan discrepancies with the way they handled a few things from what I remember, but I'm going to be honest with you, an instant take, I like the movie. I had a fun time watching it. And as I say that, I did fall asleep halfway through earlier, but that was because I didn't get much sleep last night. So I went back and I watched the end today, and oh man, yeah, the movie, I think for its time, for the special effects of this movie, spectacular. Fantastic, might I say. I mean, okay, we know by looking at it, it's an older movie, right? Just because of the CGI, like, it's not perfect, but it's way dang more than I'd expect from the early 2000s. And for some reason, during that time when I'm watching them as they come out, I don't know if this is the same for anybody else. If it was brand new, it was cutting edge. It was awesome. It didn't look fake. It looked, you wanted it to work in your mind. You lean towards it doesn't look fake at all. This CGI is actually really good. But this one actually, I feel like stood the test of time a little bit better. I will say it hit different than when I was a kid. Maybe because, we're all getting hyped up for the Fantastic Four First Steps, looking to be the most promising telling and group. Maybe people will love this Fantastic Four more in the long run. The one from 2007, Rise of the Silver Surfer. However, I'm gonna confidently tell you that the new movie looks really good. I even from the trailer, I mean, I don't know. It's got to do a lot of bad to not be better than this one. And not that this one is horrible, right? But there are some things we've learned through superhero storytelling that only like a movie coming in phase 6 of the MCU, it's going to like carry the MCU vibe with it. And this is pre-MCU. And we even got Chris Evans in this series who, when he speaks, I thought he had more of like a city, accent when he was Johnny Storm. I'll be honest, there a lot of times in this movie, Chris Evans completely sounds like Captain America. And I love that the validation of the multiverse. Deadpool might have broken the multiverse factor. Maybe it made a lot of people mad. But seeing that variant of Johnny Storm in Deadpool and Wolverine, it's just an open door saying, you got to go back and watch these. They're part of the MCU now. You don't have to by any means. But I would say watching these two Fantastic Four movies was a good time. And it built some anticipation and some things that I like to see done way better. For example, like Galactus, right? This is what I think people were a little bit mad about. But there's a lot of love. It's what makes the movie stand out, the love, the camaraderie between the characters. I think the cast has a good chemistry. Jessica Alba, Ian Grufford as Mr. Fantastic, Michael Chiklis as the Thing, and Chris Evans, Johnny Storm. I think we get really great team dynamics in this one, and maybe even a tiny bit of inspiration towards the Avengers. Some wacky stuff happened in this that I don't know how, like, is this? I'm worried that this movie's like the Marvel version of the Green Lantern movie, but I don't think that's true. I just don't hear much about this movie anymore, especially these days. But I think it's fun to go through the multiverse and thinking of these as multiverse stories, as I've said in previous episodes. So I'd say that I did like this one a little bit better than the first one. I enjoyed the first one a lot, but everyone was really comfortable in their roles in this one. So it felt more natural, this movie, The Rise of the Silver Surfer. And, I mean, there's been a lot of backlash and I mean not a lot, but like the Silver Surfer in the new trailer for Fantastic Four: First Steps. Some people are saying that the Silver Surfer from this movie looks like better special effects than her. My answer to that: they got a little bit of time before they released the movie, and the special effects aren't done yet. Maybe they shouldn't have shown her, but she's clearly a key part to the story that they want you to know and be ready for. I won't, I won't rule out the girl Silver Surfer. I won't. I will go into the movie completely accepting that, unless it does something in the movie. She does something in the movie that's like, this is not right. I'm ready for that. You know, it's the multiverse, guys. There could be a million Silver Surfers in a million different universes. And Galactus in this movie is not Galactus. And that doesn't bother me as much because I knew that. That's like the one thing I remember is Galactus is a giant storm that wants to eat you. You know what he looks like, though? You know what I get the vibes I get from this Galactus? Alioth from The Void and possibly Battleworld. I have no clue what they're going to do for Battleworld. But Alioth is still out there, as we've seen in Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine made maybe a list of 20 movies available to cover for Doomsday, and I'm okay with that. I'm loving this. I'm loving going on every angle, and something that really strikes me is how similar Alioth is to Galactus in this movie, and maybe they're like the same thing. Maybe that's the same exact entity from a different multiverse, and that's a way for them to pay homage to that Fantastic Four and the inner workings of this group. Something else I liked about this movie was the scale. Just because it was from 2007, it had a lot of what seemed to be like practical effects. I know the Silver Surfer is a giant CGI. I mean, he's nothing but CGI, but that being said, I thought the Surfer did look decent. I think I said that. But his arrival on Earth, it's like, I don't know what he's doing at the beginning of the movie. It's not fully explained. He's trying to bring Galactus there with the surfboard, but something about Sue Storm changed his mind, and he did not want to go against this Earth. He wanted to save it. Like at the end of the movie, when Sue Storm is dying, he has this revelation that he has a choice. He doesn't have to be this evil entity that brings evil entities. We could stand up to it type deal. And I kind of like that. Earlier in the film, Johnny Storm chasing the Silver Surfer, such a cool scene. The visual effects are solid. I love chases. I like the many places that they go with their super fast mobile, like their awesome vehicle at the end of the movie that splits off into different vehicles. So cool. I like Johnny in this movie. It feels like he's got the most weight on his shoulders, because when he comes in contact with the Silver Surfer, it gives him this secondary power to switch powers with any one of his teammates. And I think each one, except Invisible Woman, I may be her too. He messes things up every time that happens, and sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes it isn't. He hates it. It really honestly bothers Johnny throughout the movie. The wedding that never can happen, and I want to just give a shout out to Brian Posehn in the movie, who's the priest trying to deliver a great wedding service, but every time we are at the wedding, something goes wrong or off. And in the beginning of the movie, I like this growth in character for Sue, the Invisible Woman. I want to call her the Invisible Woman more instead of Sue, because I like her superhero name. And anyway, she's not happy with Reed for tracking the Silver Surfer. It's like all this stuff, crazy stuff is happening on the day of the wedding. So she's like, "You're really doing this during our wedding?" And the wedding gets cut off, and the Silver Surfer arrives. But at the end of the movie, another thing happens while they're doing their wedding. So that time she's more accepting of it. So she became a little more full circle and understanding, and why the world needs the Fantastic Four, and they are its heroes. Dr. Doom. Okay. Dr. Doom. I like the actor a lot, Julian McMahon. I think I'm saying it right. I'm sorry if I'm not. He was in the last movie as Dr. Doom, and I just got to say, he's a little bit one-sided and not that complex of a villain, I think, throughout. Maybe in the first movie there was more of that. I don't want to say he was shoehorned into this one, but he kind of was. like he became like the main conflict. He kind of like had to be the main conflict at one point because the Silver Surfer isn't bad. He's just stuck. We learn that he's doing what Galactus tells him, the storm, not the giant creature we're going to see in First Steps. I wonder if First Steps is actually a nod to Galactus's first steps on Earth before he eats it. I don't know what the heck's going to happen. That looks cool, but a different beast. But if you can just put that aside, you can enjoy this movie. This is not a bad movie. But back to Doctor Doom, as I was saying, the actor was good, but he was a one-sided villain. And I didn't care much for him. I don't understand that he had this issue, like his superpower was turning metal, and I guess they went back on that. And he plays good guy up until the very end, and he completely obliterates the officer from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. This man's name needs to be said here because he's a phenomenal actor. And I'm not seeing him on here. Oh, Andre Broger. God bless him. Rest his soul. He was great in this movie, but he got completely obliterated by Dr. Doom. I shouldn't have trusted Doom. You don't never trust Doom, even if he's a one-sided Doom. And, I think that it turned into, I accepted it for what it was. And I actually enjoyed the ride. And Dr. Doom with the surfboard actually was pretty cool at times. And when Johnny takes everyone's powers to fight him, it's special. Very cool. I reminds me a little bit of Secret Invasion when Daenerys Targaryen gets powers. I'm sorry, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Well, we are going to talk about Secret Invasion. We can't not. We have to. I really did like the Surfer in this movie. I'm at a few words, but he speaks completely plain American English. And you know what? He's a being from another world, and he's doing Galactus's bidding to save his own world, making him an anti-hero / victim of the greater villain. We don't know that at first. He's just doing his job, running around Earth and making not wormholes, like holes in the ground that go to what looks like the core of the Earth. He is humbled, and when he gets taken off of his board, he loses his silver. He's just kind of like this being that's not silver. He is kind of silver still, but like he's not as shiny. And until he gets his surfboard back after Doctor Doom, all the antics with that, who could totally still be alive, he sacrifices himself, which is a big deal. I liked it. Made me like the character, and that was something that could have been a one-dimensional character, giving him a sacrifice, having him change the tide. I know it's not the most original thing that happened in a movie. A bad guy turns into the good guy. But I like the way it was done in this movie. And I'm going to be honest, if I was a fan of the comics and Galactus was like that, being a fan of Galactus, I can't imagine seeing that and being like, what? Where is he? So I hope First Steps will redeem that for you and us. And I personally like this as a multiverse movie, and the fact that I'm seeing Galactus this July doesn't make me mad about this Galactus, who might be Eliath, and opening the multiverse to look into these other stories and see where they might draw more from, even in Secret Wars / Doomsday. So we got some key takeaways from this movie. The Surfer, instantly iconic, and he's got that quiet, noble energy thing going for him, and I like the Silver Surfer. I don't give up on the Silver Surfer in First Steps. Her CGI wasn't done in that trailer, I'm going to say. Give them a chance. Give it a chance, if you want. Doom's still power hungry in this movie. I'd say, I gotta say he was pretty good in this one compared to the first one. I put both of his performances pretty equal. I kind of like the surprise that he showed up. You weren't really expecting it. And I kind of like the face-off he had with Silver Surfer at the beginning, forcing him to team up with the Fantastic Four. And yeah, like I said, the VFX were better in this movie than the first one. I'd say I like this movie a little bit better. Reed and Sue, their relationship, can heroes have normal lives? And the answer is yes. Reed even says it. Who's normal? What's normal, pretty much. Everyone deserves that life that they want to live. Now, will this have an impact on the MCU? Like, will this surfer return as well as the surfer we meet in First Steps? I don't know. Could be a multiversal thing. I think the multiverse version of him being a woman is fun and different, and I can see why they do that. This movie, this Silver Surfer movie we just watched, you know, there's not much to the Silver Surfer to give him any like upgrade look wise. So like bringing the female version out is probably just a way to set the movies apart. I mean, I'm sure if they did the regular Silver Surfer, he'd look awesome, but I think Marvel Studios knows what they're doing. I trust them. Galactus, the Cosmic Storm. Would you like that redone? Do you wish it was regular Galactus? MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. We're almost done with the episode, but I want to remind you, patreon.com/MarvelManiac. Become a member, donate, and we will party and make mini episodes, and we'll have a secret handshake. Okay, no, we won't. That's impossible. This is just revving up the hype for all of us. That's why I'm doing it. Fantastic Four in July is going to be a big movie, maybe biggest of the year. And will Chris Evans ever return as Johnny? Another variant outside of what happened with Deadpool. We won't talk about it. Now that scene after watching these movies is very sad. I did like, I don't know if I mentioned this. I want to say I liked when he had all the powers of all the Fantastic Four, and that's how Doom was taken down. I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe, I wonder if that happened in the comics. I wonder if that's another thing people don't like. I don't think we'll see Chris Evans again as the Human Torch, personally. I think we had his cameo. He's going to come back as Captain America in one way or another, I'm assuming, in these upcoming movies. And there's so many other characters to pay homage to that it would be, I don't know, it would be kind of a disgrace to the awesome cameo he made in Deadpool. I think that's all that needed to happen for him. But the real question is, do you agree? MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Some fans, they do say this movie is underrated, and honestly, I don't think they're wrong. I'd love you to share which Silver Surfer you want to see in the MCU. Do you wish it was this one, or do you want a multiversal surfer? Is there a multiversal surfer? Please share with your friends this episode and any episode you might like, and give it a subscribe, a like, a rating on Apple especially. We want to get back in the algorithm. I've been going strong, nearly doubling my catalog this year, and there's no end in sight. I love this show, and I love talking about Marvel with you guys. Thank you so very much for being a part of my world and my multiverse. It means more than I can even say. So, MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com with your thoughts. Patreon.com/MarvelManiac. If you'd like to donate, there's a tip jar in the about section of this episode. Never necessary, always appreciated. We got a lot to look forward to this year. There's still so much to happen, and I hope you liked this little retro episode, which we're going to be doing more of. I'm going to warn you now. We will be covering the X-Men from the beginning and all the way through. I might even do the First Class series, those 4 movies. We'll see how much time I have between now and Doomsday. Knowing how many X-Men classic characters are going to be in it, it actually calls for us to watch and talk about those movies, which at first I was a little like overwhelmed by. I'm like, really, all of them? But then I'm thinking, you know what? Why not? That's so exciting. It's so exciting. So we're going to be talking about all that. We don't have an exact schedule yet, but be ready. We're going to be covering Miss Marvel real soon on Wednesdays up until we get another show that's releasing. And we will I'll have to look into seeing which one is coming up next. And with all that being said, thank you for being here. It's been my pleasure. I will see you next time. And until then, Avengers, disassemble.